In the quiet recesses of human history, where fact and myth blur into shadow, lies the legend of the vampire. A creature of eternal night, cursed or perhaps blessed with immortality, feasting upon the essence of life itself. But where does this story begin? And, well, is there more truth than we dare to admit? The tale of the vampire is as old as civilization. Long before Bram Stoker's Dracula immortalized the Transylvanian Count, cultures across the globe whispered of blood-drinking beings. Ancient Mesopotamians spoke of the Ikimu, restless spirits that feasted on the living. The Greeks feared the Lamia, a serpentine predator that drained children of their vitality. Slavic folklore birthed the Strziga and Vrikolakas, who were once human but rose after death, cursed to prey on their kin. The concept of the vampire gained traction in Europe during the 17th and 18th centuries, as unexplained deaths were often attributed to the undead. Panic swept through villages with suspected vampires exhumed and staked through the heart. Was this mass hysteria, or an attempt to explain the inexplicable? In 1892, in Exeter, Rhode Island, a young girl named Mercy Brown became the centerpiece of one of America's most infamous vampire cases. After her death from tuberculosis, Mercy's body was exhumed at the insistence of locals. To their horror, her body appeared almost perfectly preserved. Convinced she was a vampire preying on her family, they burned her heart and mixed the ashes into a tonic for her brother Edwin, who was also ill. He died shortly thereafter. Modern science attributes Mercy's preservation to the frigid New England winter, but the question remains, why did so many cultures, separated by time and distance, independently conceive of beings that rose from the grave to feast on the living? If vampires were real, what would it mean to live forever? Science fiction often paints immortality as a gift, but reality might tell a darker tale. Imagine a world where time becomes meaningless, where the weight of centuries erodes the soul. Biologists have studied organisms like the Turritopsis dohrnii, a jellyfish capable of reverting its cells to a younger state, effectively achieving biological immortality. Could humans one day unlock this secret? And if we did, would we want to? Philosopher Bernard Williams argued that immortality could lead to a kind of existential exhaustion, a state where all desires are fulfilled, leaving nothing to strive for. Yet, for vampires, it isn't simply about living forever. It's about sustaining that existence through the blood of others. What does this say about humanity's fears of mortality, dependence, and parasitism? The modern vampire, a reflection of society. In contemporary culture, vampires have evolved from grotesque predators to seductive anti-heroes. Shows like True Blood and The Vampire Diaries portray them as beings wrestling with their immortality, their humanity, and their monstrous nature. But why are we so fascinated by them? Psychologists suggest that vampires embody our deepest desires and fears. They represent power, eternal youth, and forbidden indulgence. Yet they also symbolize loss of control, addiction, and the curse of outliving everything we love. A chilling encounter, the Highgate Vampire. In the 1970s, London's Highgate Cemetery became the site of a supposed vampire haunting. Witnesses reported seeing a tall, dark figure with hypnotic eyes. Dead animals were found drained of blood, and two self-proclaimed vampire hunters attempted to perform exorcisms. Though skeptics dismiss these events as hysteria, the story has persisted, feeding the legend of the modern vampire. Mind-bending questions. As we unravel the threads of vampire lore, we are left with more questions than answers. What if vampires are not literal beings, but a metaphor for something deeper, a reflection of our own fears and desires? What if they represent our longing to escape death, our guilt over exploiting others, or our dread of eternal loneliness? Imagine for a moment that you were offered immortality. The catch? You must take life to sustain it. Would you accept? Could you endure the weight of centuries, watching the world change while you remain the same? And in the end, would immortality be a gift or the ultimate curse? Conclusion. The eternal enigma. The vampire, whether real or imagined, remains one of humanity's most enduring mysteries. Its tale spans continents and millennia, reflecting our deepest fears and our wildest fantasies. Perhaps the truth about vampires lies not in ancient graves or modern cemeteries, but within ourselves. For in every whisper of the undead, we hear an echo of our own fragile, fleeting existence. And so, as the shadows lengthen and the night deepens, the question lingers: what would you give to live forever? And what might you lose in the process? If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, hit that like button and subscribe for more Misty Q videos. Got a mystery you want us to explore? Drop it in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. See you until next time.